Oh goodness. Alright. There we go. Peace, peace.
Hello.
Yeah. Sorry, but I'm like, that's the only give short. I'm like, I don't know if it was the recorder or
Yeah, that was different.
Okay, yeah.
So the reason why it's depicted as a kids' music was on purpose. That was a narrative because these kids don't know the business. So as long as we can keep signing kids, we can keep abusing these people. Like dead ass. Like most of these artists are younger, inexperienced. So as you get older, you start to understand the business, and they actually have to do business with you. Then it costs them more.
Okay.
So that's why, you know what I mean? Like that's why they want you earlier, younger. Yeah, they're fully taking advantage. They're taking.
I was wondering why that was. I'm like, why is there such an age limit on?
And then here's the part that's funny about it. It turns the younger kids against the older people because, like, oh, you're old. Like I think that is one of the hardest things to hear as an older, seasoned person in music, to be disregarded with all your experience just because, oh, you're old. Okay.
That's ridiculous. Exactly. They don't understand.
You're going to be old too, and then you're going to realize how dumb that argument is.
Right. Yeah.
It's a dumb argument. So this person doesn't know what they're talking about because they're older. It should be the exact opposite. They have years of experience and have been around. They should know what they're talking about.
I'm like, that person has some wisdom, that person has years on you. So how can, now I realize it's like, I realize that it's like they're getting them younger and younger. And I'm like,
that was 100% a narrative. That was a narrative. Now, don't get me wrong. It did come from the kids in the street and the parks and whatever. But that business was grown. You understand? That was grown from the gate. That business was grown. You know what I mean? Like, so this was a way to kind of push this narrative that this is for the music for the kids, by the kids. We're signing kids. Yeah, they was banging these kids' heads off. And if you go back and talk to those younger artists, you know what I mean, that pre-LL Cool J, yeah, they was getting their heads smacked off. Them deals was horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Horrible. I mean, hell, they're still horrible.
You're right about that. Right about that. Goodness gracious. That's, wow. Wow. Yeah, then I'm like, I don't understand. I'm like, wouldn't you want to learn from somebody that's older than you? I'm like, I know when I was like, a little bit younger, I mean, it was like, and I was, 19, 20, I was like, you think you know everything about the business. You think you just go into the studio and just make a song. That's what I thought back then. It was like, nope, you gotta learn this. You gotta learn how to do this, and marketing, promotion, this, that. I'm like, what? So I just can't make a hit song. Just go to the studio, make a hit song, and then it just magically blows up. Nope. It don't happen that way.
I went to a music conference in 2005. And the gentleman said, if you are trying to get a record deal right now, you're an idiot. And that was in 2005. That was in 2005.
A little man. It's
like literally flat out said, if you're pursuing a record deal, you're an idiot. You got all the tools that they have.
Right.
You just got to be patient enough to see it out.
Mm-hmm.
Past that, like all these deals was terrible. The birth of the 360, and you know what I mean? Like this stuff is terrible.
Mm-hmm. Man, and that's, yeah, you're right about that. It is terrible. Like the deals that, man.
And the
I
part
would
that's
just,
so sad about it is you still have people out here, quote unquote, fronting. Like, oh yes, they did hand you X amount of dollars up front, but that's debt. Like they
that's
still don't
nothing.
understand
Like,
that advance is debt. That's not like that's a part of your budget. Like,
right, you gotta invest in this, and that.
free and clear. Ain't nobody giving you no, you know what I mean, like free and clear money. Like you owe that back. They're gonna recoup.
Exactly. Gotta make that break. That's a loan.
Period. But these
you gotta earn everything back. Everything that, you know.
Right. These kids don't know that or understand it, and the artists are not
telling
them that. They're not.
And that's, yeah.
So, you know what I mean? You have this facade of, oh, I'm about to get signed, we about to blow, oh, I'm about to get, like, okay. Okay. See how this works out for you.
They don't understand that the work that the serious work you have to put into all that. Right. This man. They don't understand. Goodness gracious. So how can people find you?
Woo! I don't want to be found.
No, because you didn't look. I mean, you don't want to be found. I mean, how could you? I know that.
To be honest with you, like I said, I try to stay in the background as much as possible. Yes, I do get on my lives and say what I say. My radio station is definitely my baby. That's the way. But as far as like the public eye, you're more than likely going to catch me at some type of independent show. You're gonna, you know what I mean? Anything that has to do with working with independent artists. Literally, I just came from Cleveland 2 days ago. Went up there to a show on Humbug. Just wanted to know.
So you're in the shadows.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I love it.
I was if gas wasn't so expensive, I would be on my way to Dallas right now as we speak.
Yeah.
There's a music conference going on tomorrow.
Oh yeah?
In Dallas, yeah. And I wanted to attend, and I'm like, I could do it, but like it's almost it's gonna be close to like $350 to drive down there and back. I'm like, there's just no way. Not for one day.
These gas prices,
17-hour drive. You know what I mean? You talking about 34 total. Yeah, I was just like, it's not worth it. But if it wasn't that expensive to do, I'd have been out. We'd be doing this while I was on the road. You know what I mean? Like, I will get in the car and go. Like, that is the one thing about me. I like to get gone because
that sounds epic.
There's no algorithm that's gonna fuck up me standing in your face. You know what I mean? Like, not beat me standing in your face. Like, so, you know what I mean? The best thing for me is just to go. And, you know, I always come home. I always bring my information in what I gather, you know what I mean, home. But at the end of the day, you can't sit here and think it's just going to happen. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's a combination of both. It's moving and staying still. It's moving and staying still. Pittsburgh is a great place to do music because
but you got to go outside.
So low. The cost of living affords us a great way of, you know what I mean, travel around, do what you got to do, come home. Like, you know what I mean? So we don't get that in many places, you know what I mean, where it's a decent city, you know, cost of living's low, and you got to figure, we're a few hours from New York. We're a few hours from Philly. We're a few hours from Cleveland. We're a few hours from Kentucky. We're, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we're only hours. Like, if you're somewhere in Arizona, yeah, you're close to LA, But how you getting to New York? I can wake up tomorrow morning and have lunch in New York if I want to. You know what I mean? Like, I can be in DC in 4 hours. So by 11 o'clock tonight, I can be in DC, attending whatever I want to attend. That's a beautiful thing, and still, like I said, be able to live here and afford to, afford to live. So, you know what I mean? We don't really, in my opinion, we don't see the assets that the city holds. We always want to complain about what's not here.
Right.
What we don't have. You're a car drive away from anything you could possibly want. If that's the case.
Okay, sweet, man, sweet. I'm enjoying this build session. anyone interview. It's over here. Us over here having a good old conversation. I'm learning so much just by talking to you right now. See, that's the thing. I'm I take that advice and then
Exactly.
I'm like, that's how I learn. Put me in a room with people who got some knowledge. Shoes. Bet you I walk out learning, having something, learning something.
Exactly.
And applying it.
That's the most important part.
Yes. So, I would like to thank you so much for being on the show. This has been absolutely wonderful, and you guys can check him out at One Square Radio. Is it onesquareradio.com?
It's Square One Radio.
Square One Radio, excuse me.
It's okay.
Pardon me, I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, Square One Radio. Make sure you guys check him out. Beautiful things he's doing in Pittsburgh and outside of Pittsburgh too. So make sure you guys check him out in the shadows. This has been For the Love of Music with Annie Mae, the Neo Soul Songstress. Peace and love to you. Have a beautiful evening. God bless.